Hi. How are you? Good. Have you been here before? Okay. Well, today we're making these decanters. The people working on the floor are Museum of Glass Hot Shop team. We have Gabe Feenan leading the team in the black shirt, Sayuri in dark blue shirt, and our intern, Maxime Bouquet. How do you say it correctly? You want to say it? You don't have to say it. Yeah, no, what? No, I want to say it. I want to learn. You want to say it? You don't need to. Say bouquet. 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 Yeah. It's just similar to the English one. Bouquet.
It's also a French word, yeah. Can you pass the
No, it's
words?
borrowed. That's how we say it. We borrowed it. So most of the action will be here at the center bench. So you're probably better off sitting on the other side because you'll be looking at his back. Yeah, area here. So you can get a view and see what he's doing. What? Yeah, just soda lime glass, yeah. Are you familiar with glass blowing? You want to be? Okay, well, this is the place. You're in the right place. So everything that we do starts out in our glass furnaces. The glass furnaces are the ones where you see the doors closed. There's one over there and another one on the other side of the studio. Natural gas. If you look up on the big screen, you'll see a diagram. So each one of those has a ceramic tank with 1,000 pounds of molten glass in it. When we want to get it out to make stuff, we take one of those steel pipes and we dip it into the molten glass like you dip one of those wooden honey dippers into a jar of honey. A little bit of the molten glass sticks to the pipe. The pipe itself is hollow, so when you blow, it blows up like a little balloon. If you want to make something larger, we dip it in, blow a little bubble, let it harden. Then we dip it in a second time, or a third time, or a fourth time, and just keep building up the glass in layers. All the glass that's in those furnaces is clear. It has no color. We buy colored glass in the form of these bars, and we melt a layer of colored glass over the clear glass. So what you end up with is something that looks colored, but if you cut through it, you'd see it's just that one skinny layer of color. So we're making these decanters. They get made in two parts. We make the neck first. The neck, we put it in that silver oven over there called the garage, keep it warm. And then we'll make the body of the decanter and stick the two together. Over on the right, we have some young artists from the Hilltop program in Tacoma Public Schools, where they learn glass blowing. And they're walking our visitors through trying to make a simple piece of glass. So that's like a little try it workshop. get a chance to try it. And in the center, we're making these decanters, and these will be sold at our annual fundraising auction in September. Each year, we do a limited edition of decanters, a different design every year. Could we put up some of the older decanter designs? So usually we make a decanter and 2 matching glasses. So if you look up on the big screen, so this was last year's design. This was a couple of years back. So each year our team comes up with a design. We make a limited edition of 35, and they get sold at our annual auction. That'll be September 7th this year. What? Yeah, I think so, yeah. Because we have a limited number we sell out, so. Maybe that might change. Maybe they'll take internet or phone business here. But it's been people at the auction who bought them. So these decanters have a fancy stripe pattern in them. And what we did previous is we made a long tube that had the stripe pattern in it, and we cut them up into small sections. The small sections are sitting in this oven over here staying warm. And we'll pick them up one by one and use one small section of striped glass tubing to make each decanter. So maybe later in the day, we'll make another striped tube, but you won't see that part of the process because we had to do it in advance. So over on the left, Sayuri in dark blue shirt. She's picked up one of our little sections of striped tubing called Supio, S-U-P-I-O. She's going to prepare it, coat it with clear glass, and then she's going to hand it over to Gabe, and Gabe's going to blow it up to its full size and shape. Does anybody have any questions? How are you guys? You guys have any questions? Yeah, they're professionals. They can make it into anything they want. That's called flooring. That's just a really hot chamber. Put the glass there. It gets hot, it gets soft. Then we take it to the bench and shape it. Because it's really hot, 2,300 degrees. No, it's bricks. Clay bricks, very high temperature clay bricks. Can we put up the glory hole diagram? So look up there on the big screen. So that's what it looks like, only it's so hot, it's glowing orange, you can't see the bricks inside. Hi, how are you guys? guys have any questions? Anything you'd like to know?
Nothing now.
Thank you. So Sayuri in the center is just shaping that glass up. She's rolling against the steel table. The steel table is called the Marver, Marver.
How do you become like a glass blower?
What?
How do you become a glass
Same
blower?
way you become anything else.
Do you
Work and school.
just school? So they have school
No,
program.
work and school. I
Oh,
said.
oh,
Some people learn at work.
uh huh.
Some people learn in school.
So someone can potentially get a job and
Yeah,
learn on
that's
a
what.
chop.
Yeah,
That's
leading our
cool.
team. Let me finish. Gabe got a job in a glass shop in his early 20s. Never touched glass before. He's been working ever since. Now he's been working here for the last 16, 17 years. So some people learn at work. Some people go to art schools, and you can learn there. A lot of colleges have glass programs in art schools. Hi.
Maybe you explain before we came in. When they put it here, dip it down into that
Yes.
what?
They're just dripping some of the excess off, and they just drip it into that can, and they'll save that, and later on we'll put it back in. So Sayuri is grabbing our striped tube, and she's twisting it slightly. So the stripes, when they went on, were straight up and down, and when she grabs it and twists it, the stripes will start to spiral around the bubble. So when all is said and done, they'll all be twisting around the shape in this manner. Well, we make rods, in this case, caramel colored glass, and we melt them into another piece of glass, and they become stripes. Sure. Ah. Well, when we first put the stripes on, they stick out, and then we melt the whole thing and smooth it out. We took a torch and we heated up this side, heated up this side, and then we sucked in. No, we just breathe in, and then the two soft spots.
Sorry, I just need to
No,
recheck
okay.
my calipers. All right, I'll bring it right back.
Oh, yeah, hold it, hold it.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
bring it right back.
Avoid industrial accident. Yeah, from where you have to trim stuff. Okay, thank you.
Yours.
I just sure. Well, blowing doesn't usually crack it. If you want it to blow up by blowing, you have to really work at it. You got to do it on purpose. It's kind of fun. Makes a big loud noise. But sometimes when it gets too cold, it cracks. Sometimes if we put the wrong two colors of glass together, they don't like each other and it explodes.
What's happening when they're
hot it gets soft, but fairly quickly it starts to get stiff again.
So you just need to make minor adjustments as you
Well, you
go.
make as many
It'll warm up
adjustments as
again
you
and
can till it gets stiff, and then you have to heat it up again
okay,
to
okay.
continue.
See that? Where she was moving. Oh, she stepped off her nose. You got it so it's centered. Back in. Yeah.
So it only stays soft for about a minute each time you heat it.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Nice. Uh-huh. Sounds beautiful. You're lucky. Oh, that's a torch, and we keep it lit a little bit when so that we can grab it quickly and use it. And the torch allows us to heat the glass up in a particular place. When we put it in the big oven, it kind of heats up the whole thing. We want to heat it up in just one place and use the torch. So now we're getting ready to blow it up to its full size and shape. Every once in a while, steel pipes get hot. When they do, we take them over there to a little trough called the pipe cooler. We just lay the steel pipe in the trough and spray water on it to cool it down. You can see him wiping it off where it's wet. So Maxime is heating it up, making it nice and soft, and he brings it to Gabe seated at the bench, and Gabe is shaping it with a tool called the block, BLOCK. It's made out of wood, stored in a bucket of water. As long as the wood is wet, the tool doesn't burn too much, and it doesn't leave any marks as he shapes the glass. So now Gabe has switched to a pad of wet newspaper, ordinary newspaper soaked in water. As long as the newspaper is wet, it doesn't burn too much, and it doesn't leave any marks while he shapes it. You guys have any questions? So now Gabe is squeezing the glass and making a sharp crease in it. That sharp crease is the place where you can break the glass away from the metal pipe. So Sayuri crouched down to the left of the bench. She's the person that's blowing. She's blowing through that steel tube and inflating it while Gabe shapes it. The round oven, which we're heating up the glass in, is called the glory hole. It runs on natural gas and forced air, and we keep it at approximately 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit. 6.5 times what it takes to cook a turkey. You guys have any questions? We take rods of glass like this. First you make these, then we melt them into another bubble, and each one becomes a stripe. These are called cane. Yes. So that we don't have to light it each time, so we can just grab it right when we need it.
We understand how you get the lines.
Let me just get everybody on board here. Okay. Everybody's asking about the lines. So what we do is we draw out rods of glass called cane. We have the color in the middle, and it's surrounded by clear glass. When you put a bunch of them together and you melt them together, the clear glass kind of dissolves, and you just see the colored stripes. So that's how we get them all evenly spaced. Could we put up picking up cane on a bubble? So if you look up on the big screen, you'll see a diagram. So we lay out our stripes, our cane, on a ceramic plate. We put it in the fire. We heat it up till the rods are soft and give them a little squeeze so they stick together. Then we basically have a striped sheet. We blow a bubble of clear glass, and then we roll the striped sheet onto the side of the bubble of clear glass and melt it in. And that gives us the stripes that you see on the bubble. What? Make it any thick as we want.
Well, I'm sure he must have thought it out, right? How thick he wants to make the glass.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, the glass comes in different thicknesses, right?
No,
No?
it doesn't. It comes in. It's in that tank. It's all melted. It's like honey.
Oh, it's just one big glob.
It's a tank full, 1,000 pound glass with the consistency of honey. We just dip the pipes in. A little bit sticks to the end, and then we blow.
And they blow in. And I'm trying to understand how you make it thick, how thick you make it.
Well, it depends how much glass you put on the end of the pipe, and how big you blow it up. The more you blow it up, the thinner the wall gets.
I see. And so right now he's trying to make a hole through the center of that?
Nope. He's heating up the center, and she's sucking in, and the two sides come together and fuse.
Oh, really?
Not a hole.
I thought she was doing. Oh, I see.
So we just heat it up and soften it here, heat it up and soften it here, and then suck in.
The pattern? How do you get the
Those
pattern?
are individual rods of colored glass that we melted into the original bubble.
Ah, okay. All right. Very nice. Thank you.
So the next thing we're going to do is transfer the glass from the rod it was originally blown on, where Gabe in the black hat, to a second steel rod called the punty. This second steel rod is going to act as a handle to hold the decanter from the bottom while we shape the top. So Sayuri in the dark blue shirt, she's got the punty, P-U-N-T-Y. We stick it onto the bottom, When that bond is cool enough and strong enough, Gabe will chill it with his jacks, the metal tongs, and give it a tap, and off it comes.
When she sucks in the air, is the air not too hot? It's too
Nope.
hot.
Room temperature by the time it gets to the other side of the pipe. It's not even warm. Yes, sir.
Is there still? Can you put the finger through the hole after
It's not a hole.
Oh.
It's just the two sides squished together.
Yeah, you can put your finger through the top.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this.
Which one are you talking about?
The middle.
This middle. Yeah. Now it looks like we could make it a hole if we wanted, but we want to see all the little crisscross in the middle.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're going to do is add the neck to the decanter. We pre-made the neck earlier, and Maxime over on the far left, he's got the neck. He's going to heat it up, bring it to Gabe in the center, and then going to stick the two together. Hey Phil, how you doing? Good. So the next thing we're going to do is add a little decorative black stripe to the rim of the decanter. Over on the far left, Maxime is heating up some black glass. Gabe will sit at the bench. Maxime will bring the glass over, and we'll wind on a contrasting colored stripe. When Maxime comes over with the glass, it's going to look orange. The orange color you're seeing is the glow from the heat. When it cools down and the glow disappears, you'll see that the stripe is black, like the stripe you see here. You guys have any questions? These guys are professionals. Well, Sayuri is a part-timer, so she doesn't work here all the time. So they haven't been working continuously together at all. They just work, she comes in part-time, and so the French guy is visiting, he's also part-time. They're just professionals. If you're a professional glassblower, you should be able to slip into a team and do it. So we have two ways in which we heat up the glass. Sometimes we heat it up in the big round oven, the glory hole. Sometimes we heat it up with a torch. When we heat it up with a torch, it allows us to focus the heat in a particular place. When we heat it up with a glory hole, it kind of heats up the whole object. So right now he's going to flare out the very top of the decanter. So we take the torch, just heat up the top, make that part soft, and we can shape that without disturbing the rest of the shape. So we're getting pretty close to being done. Everything that we make has to be cooled off slowly or it'll break. If we just made this decanter, put it on a table, walked away, it would cool too quickly and unevenly and it would shatter. So we're going to take the decanter off that metal rod and we're going to place it in an oven called the annealing oven where it'll be cooled slowly overnight. Each day we heat up our annealing oven to 890 degrees. We place all the things we make during the day in there, and then at night it has a little computerized thermostat and it will slowly turn the temperature down to room temperature. So once again, we're going to use water to break the bond. Gabe will take a pair of tweezers, dip them in water, drip a few drops of water on the joint between the decanter and the metal rod. That'll crack that joint, and just a light tap, and off it'll come. So here he goes. He dips the tweezers in water, a few drops on the glass, a little tap, and into the annealing oven to cool. So let's have a hand for the Museum of Glass Hot Shop team, Gabe Feenan, Maxime Bouquet, and Sayuri Fukuda. Could we play color overlay?
The color in glass comes from adding various materials to the mixture of raw ingredients called batch. Most of the colorants are compounds containing some kind of metal. For example, adding cobalt to clear glass creates a deep blue. Tin and antimony can be used to create white glass, and gold chloride can produce a rich red or pink colored glass. Colored glass is melted in furnaces, just like clear glass, and then is usually rolled into bars for storage and easy application. In order to apply color bar to a bubble, we first need to preheat the color to approximately 950 or 1000 degrees Fahrenheit in a color oven or garage. Once warm, the color is then picked up on the end of a punty rod using a little bit of clear glass as a support. The color is then heated in the 2300 degree glory hole to soften it and make it malleable, while another artist creates a small bubble of clear glass on a blowpipe. Once warm, the color is dropped over the clear bubble, and then using a variety of hand tools or the steel marver, the color is rolled back over the clear in an even layer. This process is called dropping color, or creating a color overlay. Depending on the project, that bubble is then usually gathered over with clear glass and blown into the final form. The finished product may appear to be all made from colored glass, but when viewed in cross-section, we can see that there is only a thin layer of color sandwiched between many layers of clear glass.
We made a big stripe too, cut it up into little sections, and all the little sections are in there, so they're all pre-made. No, we'll probably do it maybe towards lunch or something, make more. How are you guys? Good. So this is what we're making. Oh, beautiful. Right now he's making the neck. No, that we'll grind the bottoms flat. They haven't done that yet, so. No, the stopper is commercial. Yeah, he's making the neck. Yeah, what we do is we make the neck first. We place the neck in that silver oven over there, keep it warm. Then we make the body of the decanter. Then we pull the neck out and stick it on. So now we're going to put a little black stripe around the edge of the bottom, what's going to be the bottom of the neck. So Maxime over on the left is heating up some black glass, and we're going to wind on a little stripe, which will end up right here. These decanters that we're making have a fancy pattern on them. And so when we make something with a fancy pattern, instead of recreating the fancy pattern for each individual object, we make a long tube with the fancy pattern in it. Then we cut it up into small sections. And so we make 4, 5, 6 of them. And then we put them in that silver oven over there and keep them warm. We pick them out one at a time, stick them on a pipe, and then we'll use that to make the body of the decanter. So Sayuri, over on the far left, she just grabbed one of these. So these are called Supio, and we generally do it whenever we're making a fancy pattern or sometimes a special color. Instead of doing it over and over and over again, we make one big one and cut it up.
When they blow the glass, how they can make sure not to have like air bubbles in the glass?
Well, the air doesn't go into the glass. It's like blowing up a balloon. It just makes it bigger.
Ah, okay. Because I've seen some like glass vases with air bubble in it.
Right. The bubbles come from not cooking it thoroughly.
Ah,
When you first throw all the ingredients in and you cook it, it melts and gets all bubbly. And then the longer you cook it, the more bubbles rise to the surface and pop.
ah, okay.
So it has to do with the cooking, not with the blowing.
Yeah, yeah, okay, good, good, good. So do you cook in that film there or in
We
furnace?
cook it in these two, both these two.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
ones with the doors closed. Those
Yeah,
are the
yeah.
glass furnaces.
yeah.
Are they all the same or they're different temperature?
There's two kinds of furnaces. There's the glass furnaces, the ones where we have the tanks of molten glass, and those both run at 2100 degrees. And all the round ones with the doors open, the glory holes, they all run at 2300.
Okay. Thank you. We'll have more questions.
Yeah,
We're very
I'm here
interested in
till
this.
5, so.
Yeah, yeah, it's very interesting.
So over on the left, Sayuri is going to coat our Supio, our little pattern bubble, with another layer of clear molten glass. So while Gabe is waiting for our pattern bubble to be ready, he's going to make something fun. So the man seated to the left, he's the guy that's blowing. He blows through the steel tube and inflates it while Gabe, sitting at the bench, shapes it. Hi, how are you guys?
Hi, good.
You guys have any questions?
I'm sure I have a lot.
One at a time.
Okay, what is he making?
I think he's making a drinking glass. Just killing time till the bubble for the decanter is ready.
So is he gonna make another one of these?
Yeah. We're going to make those all day. But he's waiting for Sayuri is preparing the bubble for him over there. So he's got a minute or two, couple of minutes.
And the glass, does it come patterned? Like how does the
No, we made the glass pattern. We melted rods of colored glass, made a bubble of clear glass, laid out a pattern of rods of colored glass,
And then rolled it
we
on.
melted them on. Yeah. Can we put up the cane on a bubble drawing? So if you look up there, that's how we applied the stripes to the bubble for the decanter. We put them on, they go on straight, and then when Gabe gets the bubble, we're going to twist it so that they spiral around instead of going straight up and down. So these decanters that we're making today are for our annual fundraising auction in September. Each year, we design a limited edition decanter. We make a series of 35 of them, and then we sell them at our annual fundraiser. Could we put up some of the older designs? So if you look up on the big screen, this was last year's design. We made a decanter and 2 matching glasses. This was a couple years back. So each year the decanter is designed by the team, and we make a limited edition, and each year we make a different design. I haven't timed it, but I would say 30, 40 minutes.
This is all, like you said earlier, that they're making the fabric.
Right, the neck.
When are they making the full?
They're making it right now. Yes, so they make the neck, put it in the silver oven in the garage, keep it warm, then they make the body.
And then they attach the chips.
Each one of them is working on one.
No,
They're different
working
things.
together.
They're all working together to make these things.
No, we're not making them simultaneously. The neck is done. Sayuri started the body. Now she's handing it over to Gabe.
Guess I'm asking the woman that's doing. She's also working on this thing, or she's working on something different.
She's working on it, but they're not. I don't. You
She
got me
started the
confused.
body, now they're continuing it.
You got me confused.
Okay, it's okay.
So, Gabe is shaping the glass using a tool called the block. Sayuri is seated to the left of the workbench. She's the one who's going to blow. She's going to blow into the steel tube and inflate the glass while Gabe, sitting at the bench, shapes it. The gray pad in Gabe's hand is just folded up ordinary newspaper soaked in water. As long as the newspaper is wet, it doesn't burn too much, and it doesn't leave any marks as he shapes the glass. So when he's shaping the glass, just fold it up wet.
And the color doesn't come off, the blackness.
Nope.
The newspaper, the ink doesn't taint the glass in any way.
Nope. that he's shaping the glass with just folded up wet newspaper.
How long do you get use out of one of those?
2-3 days.
Yeah. Wow. I was sure it was some kind of insulated cloth.
Nope. That's it. Old newspaper.
Yeah. Well, reduce, reuse, recycle, right?
That's right. Well, even once this is done, we can still throw it in the recycling
Yeah,
bin.
you can still recycle it.
It's still paper.
How is he gonna put the hole in there? That's
Hole?
yeah.
Oh, the middle?
Yeah.
He's going to take a torch. He's going to heat this side, heat the other side, just in the center. Make this part soft, and then just going to suck in. Two sides will draw into each other and fuse.
Oh wow. So you kind of like have to set that up.
What?
That's crazy. Okay. Cool.
First, we got to squish it, and then we'll make it a little flattened, and then you'll see him take a torch and go here, 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 and then. And it's, yeah.
They just pulled it out from the furnace,
Right.
and they are holding with their hands that metal part.
Right, right.
Oh, that metal part must be hot. It
It's
is.
not as hot as common sense would lead you to believe.
Okay. Why is that?
It's physics.
Uh-huh.
The pipe is really long. It has a great deal of surface area compared to its mass, so it radiates the heat very efficiently. Also, once you coat it with glass, glass is an insulator, and it shields it from the direct heat of the furnace. Now, they do sometimes become uncomfortable, but they don't get as hot as you would think.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering how.
So now we're going to heat up and soften the centers of each side. The torch in his hand is a propane and oxygen torch. It has a 5,000 degree flame. We're just going to soften the centers, and then we're going to suck in, and the two centers will be drawn together and make the circle part that you see in the finished decanter. The torch allows us to just heat up the part we want to shape. When Gabe feels that it's hot enough, he'll ask Sayuri to suck in. So just draw the air in, and the two sides will come together. Uh-oh. Trouble in paradise. Ooh. So we got it a little bit too hot when we sucked in the bubble tore. So back to the drawing board. people learn in school. These guys are learning like in high school. Some of our glass blowers learned it at art colleges. Gabe, who's leading our team today, learned at work. He's been working ever since. These guys, we have a crack team here. We're looking at some serious technology.
When they do the like the flouting and the like teapots, that's tough. That's tough. Uh,
That's called an Ampolina.
Ampolina?
Ampolina. It's a classic miniature pitcher from designed from Renaissance time, and they would use it in churches to anoint people with holy water.
So that spout, but like when you do it with ceramics, you do it really differently, right? Like you make your structure and then you have to shape the spout. So I imagine that part is probably the same, but how do you?
No, it's different. This is a tricky thing.
Yeah.
What you do is you get a little ball of glass on the end of a rod, heat up a spot on the side, and then we stab it. And then when we pull it out, it draws a tube with it. And then it draws a tube with it, and then we bust it off and open at the end. Now,
You got to do that after. You got to do it after so you only got one shot at it.
yeah, it's a tricky thing to do. When we make these Ampolinas, it's usually kind of to test the glass blower's skill because it's a hard thing to make.
Yeah. It's beautiful. This is very cool. Thank you.
So who is making the new one? Is it her?
Well, she'll pick up the Supio.
Okay.
She'll coat it several times with molten glass till we have all the glass we need, and then she'll hand it over to Gabe
Yeah.
to finish it.
I have to ask you something. That pattern, is it already pre-made or
Well, we made it.
you make it? Okay.
We make it.
Yeah,
We
okay. Yeah.
we draw out rods of colored glass. This is easier to see.
Okay.
And can we put up picking up cane on a bubble? So we lay out our pattern on a ceramic plate. We put the ceramic plate in the fire, heated up the rods of colored glass till they're soft. Give them a little squeeze, they stick together. Then we blow a bubble of clear glass and we roll the stripe pattern onto the side. Thank you. So
That's
we
fine.
made a big one. We cut it up into little sections.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll just use one section for each decanter.
Okay, good.
You're looking at 16th century Venetian technology.
In a modern way.
What?
I think this is
No,
more
it's
modern.
pretty straight ahead. This is almost exactly the way that we cut it in Venice in the 1600s. Glass blowing here in the United States fell off in the 1940s and the 1950s because of automation. So very few people in the States had these kind of hand skills. Starting in 1979, a man named Benjamin Moore invited a number of Venetian masters to come to the United States and teach the young Americans.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So the way we blow glass here is really strictly the same as, straight out of Venice.
Yeah. But do you guys compare your glass with Murano glass? What's the difference?
I mean, there's no particular difference because we learned from the Murano masters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
What's the there's a little difference in the formula that we use. Theirs is softer, ours is a little stiffer.
Okay.
And I guess they're the originals and we're the copiers.
Well, I don't know. Plagiates? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
But I mean,
Good design is
we're
good
making
design.
it almost exactly the same way they make it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because we learn from them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you had your own design.
Oh, we make
Yeah.
all sorts of things that they don't make, but um, the stuff we're doing today is pretty traditional, straight ahead Venetian glass.
Oh, okay.
We make crazy sculptures.
We'll
We
go now
make
and see what you're making around.
we make all sorts of things, but today it's pretty straightforward Venetian.
So, but when you make art, artworks,
Yes,
you make them here?
yes.
Oh,
We have
okay.
artists from all over the world come as guest artists from Italy, Sweden, Japan, France, and they come here and they work with our team of glass artists.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes they're glass artists,
Uh-huh.
sometimes they're poets, musicians, painters, ceramicists,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so if they're not a glass maker, then they come up with a design and our guys make their design.
Do you guys organize private classes?
Nope.
Uh,
There's numbers of people there's plenty of places to take classes around here.
oh, okay.
There's two studios right down the street that have classes. There's, I don't know, at least half a dozen in Seattle.
Okay.
We do have this try it thing. You can just try it once with the kids from the high school, but we don't have regular. Oh yeah, take care. Thanks for coming in. For those of you who came in a little later, we're making these decanters. These are a limited edition. We're making it for our annual fundraiser. Each year we design a decanter and two matching glasses, and we sell them. We sell them at our annual fundraising auction in September. This year it's going to be September 7th. The decanters are designed by our Museum of Glass Hot Shop team, and each year it's a different design. Can we put up some of the previous designs up on the big screen? So this was last year's design. This is one a couple of years back. So each year we design something different and make a limited number. Hi, how are you guys? Good. How are you? Good. Do you guys have any questions? Anything you'd like to know?
Earlier when the girl was trying to cut you,
Mm-hmm.
how, how, how does she know that how much hair she has to cut you so that she won't cut yourself complicated?
Oh, well, Gabe is talking to her, telling her what to do. These guys are professionals. They know how to do it.
Is she actually inhaling it?
She is inhaling it.
Okay. Is it dangerous?
Nope. Nope. It's not even warm when it gets to the other side of the pipe. We do it all the time.
This needs to be like take a break between two and three.
Yes. We call it lunch. forge it.
Okay, great, thank you.
So in the center, Gabe Feenan, is shaping the glass. The pad in his hand is just folded up newspaper soaked in water. As long as the newspaper is wet, the paper doesn't burn too much, it doesn't leave any marks as he shapes the glass. The woman seated to the left, Sayuri, she's the person that's blowing. She blows through the steel pipe and inflates the glass while Gabe shapes it. So now he's going to squeeze the glass and make a sharp notch in it. That sharp notch is the place where we can break the glass away from the metal pipe. So Sayuri is blowing as Gabe, sitting at the bench, shapes it. You guys have any questions? Oh, good couple. Well, in June sometime, I haven't got a date, but we're going to have Lino Tagliapietro, the greatest glass blower in the world. It's in June. I haven't seen a date yet. Calendar. So now we're going to heat up the center. So we're going to soften the centers on each side. And then we're going to suck in, and the two centers will come together and fuse and make a little circle like that. So the torch in Gabe's hand, Gabe in the black hat, is a propane and oxygen torch. It has a 5,000 degree flame. So Sayuri is sucking in, And the two sides, which are soft, come together as she sucks in. And that's how we get the little circle in the center. Hi, how are you guys? Good. You guys have any questions?
They had it as like a ball, and they were rotating it in that metal thing that they dipped into the water. How does the water not make it shatter? Is it hot
Okay,
water?
so first of all, the metal thing isn't metal, it's wood.
Oh, it's wood.
And when
That makes more sense.
it looks like a scoop,
Yeah.
but we don't scoop up any water in it. We use it empty. We just want the wood damp.
Okay.
And when the damp wood touches the hot glass, the water, the dampness just turns to steam.
Oh, okay. So that makes more sense. I was like, man, how does it not shatter with it being, whatever. That's cool. It's wood. I didn't know that. That makes a lot more sense. I was really interested how he does this stuff. He doesn't make it look
It's a pretty, damn traditional trick.
That's cool. She had it actually just so big. It was part of the making property. So it was this all street crazy and like as far as
Well, it wasn't steel. They were employees of the museum.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're working for the museum now, making this wood.
That's what I really like about this museum too. It's like a lot of artists they make these where to get their name out. Is there some maybe a bigger draw into the museum to make it big?
Well,
Are they gonna make
no,
money
no.
from making these, or is it just the museum
Well,
gonna make
hopefully
money?
the museum will make money.
Yeah, that's dope.
Well, but this is part of our annual fundraising thing. But it's not a business.
Yeah.
Think of it as this. If it was a business, it'd be a terrible business. Yes, sir. Oh, not polite to ask how much other people make. That's private. Yeah, there's a nonprofit. Well, you give money. So we're transferring the glass from the rod it was originally blown on to a second steel rod called the punty. The second steel rod will act as a handle to hold the decanter from the bottom while we shape the top. When Gabe feels that the bond is strong enough, we'll break the glass off the original pipe and leave it stuck to the second. Looking on the calendar, there's a sort of a blank spot from like the 12th to the 16th. I'm guessing it doesn't say Lino here, but I'm guessing that's probably.
Around the 12th to 16th. Thanks.
Just keep checking the website. So these decanters are made in two parts. We make the neck, put it in that oven, keep it warm. We make the body. And so Gabe has finished the body. Maxime on the other side of the studio has the neck, which we made earlier in the day. And now we're going to put the two together. Hi, how are you guys? Good. You guys have any questions? Anything you'd like to know? Okay. Hot glass sticks to hot glass. We press the two parts together, they fuse. And now we'll break the neck away from the pipe that it was held on. Little tap, and off it comes. Good. How are you?
Cousin from Texas.
Hi, my pleasure. So Dave filling you in on all the details? Okay. So when we break that glass off of the pipe, the glass at the very top is always a little bit thick. So we're going to probably trim a little bit of that off right at the very top of the neck. $35. Oh, I don't know. I haven't counted them. So we're going to stretch out the glass at the very top with those tweezers. And then he's going to switch to a pair of shears. And you can actually cut the glass like cutting it with this, like sheet metal shears. If you look on the big screen, yeah. So glass, when it's hot, can be cut with scissors. Don't try that at home. So now we're back to put a little decorative stripe on the very edge of the rim. We take a little black glass and wind on that decorative stripe. When the glass is all glass when it's very hot looks orange. So when we apply it, it looks orange, but as it cools, that orange glow will dissipate, and you'll see that the glass is actually black. So we're checking the diameter. We're going to use these commercial stoppers in the decanter. We want to make sure that it's the right width so they fit. So the bottle is homemade, but these the stoppers are commercial. I don't know. similar diameter so you can. They're a little tricky, but they're not. We don't. They're not a super high tolerance thing. Do you guys have any questions?
How hot are the stones?
The stove is 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit. That's like a volcano.
How hot is the torch?
The big bushy torch, 3,500 degrees.
3,500. Oh,
The little blue white torch is 5,000.
that's crazy. That's hot.
That's hot. So everything we make has to be cooled off slowly. So we're going to take the decanter off the metal rod and place it in an oven called the annealing oven, where it will be cooled slowly overnight. If we were just to make it now, put it on a table, it would cool too quickly and unevenly, and it would shatter. A little tap, off it comes, into the big black annealing oven, where it'll cool overnight. So we do all sorts of things here at the Museum of Glass. One of our favorite things to do is called our Kids Design Glass. Any kid that comes to the museum can do a drawing. Once a month, we pick one of the drawings and make it out of glass. We make 2 copies, one for the kid to take home and one for the museum collection. Could we play Kids Design Glass? We have a little video, show you what we've done with some of the kids in the past.
It's a baby monster. Pip is a baby monster that loves to smile and laugh. Even though he's little and cute, he gives a big cry. Also, Pip loves food, especially bananas. He will eat any speck of food in sight.
Oh, it's amazing. Totally amazing. And especially if the pieces of art go traveling around, other kids will see, oh my gosh, I could do that too. You know, it's not just somebody else that, they did it, I couldn't do that. Absolutely not. Anyone can do this. And I think that's what it shows the kids.
Maybe not everybody can.
But, and
I think it's gonna stand up there with one of the coolest things that a museum has ever done.
What is it? A cucumber all dressed up for a night on the town? That's pretty ridiculously funny.
The funnest part about this project is how fresh the ideas are coming from the kids who they have no idea of glass blowing techniques. They don't care.
Nobody saw this coming. We'd make one piece and it was given to the family. And then we realized, well, wait a second, there's something more here. We started to get more drawings, more interesting drawings, and it really kind of snowballed a little bit.
Bacon Boy was special. The hat almost looks like a frying pan.
Maybe he's wearing a friend.
really shows that there's an artist in all of us. I think so, and it's human nature to be creative. So I think we lose that as we get older sometimes, and it's cool to see this pure creative nature that children possess. So I think it's cool to share that with the rest of the world, hopefully. So.
Thank you for supporting Kids Design Glass.
So if you come to the museum with kids, any kid 12 and under is eligible. Just go into our little arts and crafts room off the lobby, and we have everything you need, paper, markers, everything you need to do a drawing and enter the contest. The contest is free. So the next piece we're going to make will be one of these little miniature pictures called an ampollina. It's a classical Venetian style object, and they were used in Renaissance times to hold holy water. The ampollina is a test of your skill. It's a difficult thing to make nicely. So many of the glassblowers make them as a sort of skill challenge. They have the big tanks of molten glass in them. Those are the ones you can do as clothes. The glory holders are just for a hot chamber with no glass in them for heating and softening the glass.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. And the bars, they're just
No, the glory holes are all the same.
this one's got bars.
Oh, that's for preheating the tips of the pipes so that the glass will stick. The name on the piece is usually the person who designs it. So, like when you go see a Frank Lloyd Wright house, oh, this beautiful Frank Lloyd Wright house. Frank didn't put in the sink or lay the sheetrock. Frank. Sometimes it's the same person. The person designed it and the person who made it, but sometimes it's not. So Gabe coated his bubble with another layer of clear molten glass. The glass looks orange because it's hot. The orange glow that you're seeing is the glow from the heat. So one of the glass blowers is seated to the left of the workbench. He's the person who's going to be blowing. He'll blow through that steel tube, the blowpipe, and inflate the glass while Gabe, in the black hat, shapes it. So the form that we're making is this miniature pitcher here called an ampollina. It's a classical Venetian style pitcher. It was used during the Renaissance to hold holy water in the churches. So he's squeezing it down, stretching out what's going to be the neck of the pitcher and the body of the pitcher. So this is what we're making. Yes, sure. It's hard to see from all the way down there. Oh, good. Good. Which? The guy with the cap and glasses? That's your kids? Oh my God. You look too young to have kids like that. I was expecting. Do you have any questions? Anything you want to know? Good, good. Oh, welcome. Good, good. We're always doing something different, so each time you come back, that'd be nice. So now you get to see how they're made. You can go home and make one yourself. Take care. So we're flattening out the base. Hi, how are you guys? Good. Do you guys have any questions? Anything you'd like to know? Okay. Well, this is what we're making. This is called an ampolina. It's a classic Venetian style design. It's for holding holy water in the church to anoint people with holy water. So the next thing we're going to do is transfer the pitcher from the rod it was originally blown on to a second steel rod called the punty. This second steel rod will hold the pitcher from the bottom while we shape the top. So Sayuri in the dark blue shirt, she's got the punty, the second steel rod. We stick it on the bottom. And then we'll break the glass away from the original pipe. So we'll drip a little water where we want it to break, and a little tap, and off it comes. So now it's held from the bottom. The top is exposed. The top can now be heated and shaped.
We'll do the frou-frou around the neck too. A little more glass this time, okay?
So the glass at the very top of the pitcher is always a little bit thick when we break it off the pipe. So we're going to take some tweezers, stretch it out, and then trim some of it off. Does anybody have any questions? 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit. 6.5 times what it takes to cook a turkey. So we trim it off. When glass is hot, you can actually cut it with a scissors. So we're going to wind on a little decorative stripe. So now we're going to wind on another decorative stripe. This time we're going to pinch it and twist it to make it like a little bit frilly. So the second one will be So now this is the trickiest part of all. We're going to heat up a little spot on the side of the belly of the pitcher, and we're going to draw the spout right out of the side of the pitcher. So he's just softening up the place where we're going to draw it. His assistant is going to come over with a little glob of glass on the end of his steel rod. We're going to stab the belly and then draw it out slowly, and we'll get our spout. So Max, standing up, has another little dab of molten glass on the end of. We take it, stick it on the spot we've softened, push it inward towards the center, and then we'll draw it out, and we'll pull the spout right out of the side. So next thing we're going to do is add the handle. Sayuri, over on your left, is preparing the glass for the handle. We stick it on the neck of the pitcher, draw it out, snip it off, flip it over, give it a little twist for elegance, and attach it to the body of the pitcher. Gabe is making sure that the handle is fully fused onto the side of the pitcher by heating it up with a torch. Does anybody have any questions? We took rods of colored glass called cane and we melted them into a bubble before we started. It's a trick. I'll show you in a minute. He's almost done. So everything we make like this has to be cooled slowly. Oops. Okay, I'm not sure what they're up to, but so these are called cane. We make these first. And they have the color in the middle. You hold it. There, look at it. And they have the clear glass on the outside. So when you take a bunch of them and you melt them together, the clear automatically spaces. You know, so you're only left seeing. You can't see the clear anymore. All you see is the colored stripes.
Cool.
So that's how we get them all even.
So do you melt them all together like that, or and then as they?
Well, we lay them out on a little ceramic plate, melt them together, and then we take a bubble of clear glass and we roll up the stripe, and then we melt the stripes
So
into
that's how you get that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we're going to take the finished pitcher off of the metal rod and place it in an oven called the annealing oven, where it will be cooled slowly overnight. If we didn't cool it slowly, if we let it cool on its own, it would cool too quickly and unevenly, and it would break. So let's have a hand for the Museum of Glass Hot Shop team, Gabe Feenan, Sayuri Fukuda, and Maxime Bouquet. So that concludes our demonstrations for this morning. We're going to take an hour lunch, and we'll be back in an hour making more glass. If anybody has any questions before I go. Yes? No particular amount of time. It's like learning piano. How long does it take to learn piano? Hopefully, the longer you do it, the better you get at it. Well, Gabe, who was just making that picture, has been doing it for 22 years. Overnight. 2,300 degrees. Natural gas and forced air. Good. Good. Glad you enjoyed it.